My name is Amanda Napper. I'm the chair of the Niagara Peninsula branch of Ontario Ancestors. Some of you hopefully have seen me before, or you've received our newsletter from the branch. We're always happy, whether you're members or not, to help you out finding your family tree. We have several upcoming events coming. Tomorrow we'll be at the Welland Library at Seaway Mall. On July the 4th, we're going to be in Dunnville. It will be in our newsletter. Hopefully, we'll be there for Canal Days in Welland. At the beginning of September, we will be in Wainfleet at the Marshville Hest Festival. Tonight, we've got Jennifer Blakeley talking to us about her business, Life's QR. I am just going to hand it off to Jennifer to start. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight, Jennifer. I've been looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for zooming in and giving me the opportunity to introduce Life's QR to you. I'm really excited to do that. My name is Jennifer Blakeley. I am the owner and founder of Life's QR. Life's QR is the ICCFA award-winning memorial product for 2023 for Best Memorial Product of the Year. This is our third year in business. And for those of you that don't know, the ICCFA is the International Cemetery and Funeral Association. So it was quite an award that we won. I love having that badge on our front screen because it's just a little testament to what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish with Life's QR. And before I get started talking about Life's QR, I think it's really important to give you a little context into who I am and my career and what led me to creating Life's QR. I am a photographer by trade. I spent many years in my career photographing celebrities and notable figures all over Canada and the United States. I had a studio in Niagara for many years, and as you can see, my client list includes Vince Vaughn, Donald Trump Jr., his whole family before he was the president many years ago, and a lot of other notable figures. My work has been featured all over the place. I loved photography. Photography was a passion. I was really good at photography. And then COVID happened, 2020 happened, and my career came to an immediate stop. I was unable to travel because the borders were closed for over a year. I could not service my clients. I couldn't leave. My studio was closed for almost a year. I couldn't service my families and my businesses. And it made me stop working, and it made me really take a time out of my life. And it really led me to what I'm doing today. During COVID, a lot of things changed for everybody here. One of the things that changed was the resurgence of the QR code. Before COVID, there was the QR code. It's been around since 1997, I believe. It really wasn't used that often before COVID. You had to have a special app to look at a QR code. A lot of people didn't understand how it worked. And then during COVID, that all changed. Everything became a QR code. There was QR codes on restaurant menus. Everything was contactless. There was even QR codes on doctor's offices and schools. You had to scan the QR code, do a vaccine check, fill out your health history form, make sure you didn't have any symptoms. So during COVID, we really saw the QR code make a comeback. And during COVID, our technology, our smartphones got better at reading them. During that time as well, when I was taking a break from my photography, I went on a fitness journey, like I think a lot of people did. We were either making bread or we were working out, and I started working out. I made it a goal to start walking 5 to 10 kilometers a day, and I did it. In my neighborhood, all of our sidewalks are maintained by homeowners, and sometimes they're really well maintained and sometimes they're not. I ended up walking at our local cemetery. Our local cemetery is quite large. 2 laps around is 5 kilometers, and the roads are always salted, they're always plowed, and it's a great place to walk in the wintertime. So I was there almost every day walking. What I saw when I was walking was a lot of this, and this is real photos of things in our local cemetery. I saw pictures in Ziploc bags. I saw picture frames with broken glass. I see laminated obituaries and obituaries taped to headstones. I see trinkets, I see flags, I see broken glass. All of these things are actually prohibited by cemetery bylaws, but it doesn't stop people from leaving them because right now there's no other way to share with the world what that person meant to them. There's no other way to do it. So I came home from walking and I talked with my husband, who is a government level applications developer. He works with the government of Canada. He's a senior applications developer. And I said, I have an idea. There are QR codes everywhere now. I can't go anywhere without seeing a QR code. Why is there not a QR code at the cemetery? Because there's so many people who I see there who I think that I might know, names that I recognize, whether they're old teachers or friends or neighbors, but I don't really know who's buried there. And my husband very reluctantly said, that's a good idea, Jen, but it's going to take a long time to build. So we talked about it for about a year, back and forth. I finally convinced him that it was a good idea and that I think that we can make this happen. So he got a team of his friends together from the government and they built Life's QR. Now, to go back, just so everyone understands what a QR code actually is, because a lot of people don't even know what a QR code is or how it works. So, QR stands for quick response. That's it. It's a quick response that opens a web page. There's no app required. It's basically a barcode that any smartphone can read and it goes right to a web page. No apps, no download. It goes right to a web page. It's built into almost every single smartphone camera. All you have to do is point your camera at the QR code and tap the link. It was originally created to track automobile parts during manufacturing. It was invented in 1994 in Japan, and it's been around for 30 years. But during 2020, during the COVID, is really when it started to become most popular. The technology to read QR codes is actually getting better and better. Every time Apple does an update, every time Samsung does an update, the QR code readers get better. So we created Life's QR. Life's QR is a digital memorial website that is connected to a stainless steel QR code. It's made for all weather conditions. We sell them in Buffalo, we sell them in Texas, we sell them in Los Angeles, we sell them up north Canada. They're all over the place now. We've been running this business we're going on 4 years. And I have a little video to show you where we started, how it's going, and then I'm going to go through the rest of the presentation.
There is a Canadian company that is transforming the memorial experience. This is a very cool story. It has created weatherproof QR signs that are being attached to things like headstones, mausoleum walls, trees, memorial benches, using technology to tell the stories of loved ones who have passed.
Life's QR. 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 It's called Life's QR.
First place in this category goes to Life's QR. Attached to me. Accepting the award is Life QR owner creative Jennifer Blakeley.
So it started off as a very simple idea. It started off with me walking through the cemetery during COVID because I was shut out of working and doing my regular career of photography. And it's grown quite rapidly, and we couldn't be happier with the success. So in this presentation, I'm going to go over Life's QR, how it works, how historic monuments can benefit, privacy considerations, the signage warranty, proof of concept, and I have some really interesting historic cemetery case studies I'm going to share with you. Some cemeteries that I work with in the States that are very notable cemeteries. I have all their analytics. I can tell you how many times people are scanning the memorials, what the tour guides think of them. And yeah, this is what we're going to do. With Life's QR, it is a 304 stainless steel weatherproof QR code sign. They're laser etched with a fiber laser to prevent any kind of rusting. And on the back, we use 3M VHB tape. It's peel and stick permanent adhesive, best applied to flat, smooth surfaces. So if there's any historic monuments that are a little, weathered or are not flat, probably not best for those unless you had a bronze sign beside it. With the QR code, families can upload unlimited text. You can upload 200 photos. You can embed videos. You can put links to Ancestry, links to Google Documents, links to social media pages, links to Wikipedia pages, links to whatever you want. There's a family tree, and there's also an interactive guest book. There's also privacy controls that I'm going to go over later in the presentation. You can basically make the memorial exactly how you want. And each QR code is unique. There's no two that are the same. And every QR code is just a memorial waiting to be created. So when you scan that QR code, it will go right to the memorial that you're creating. This is the product line that we have at Life's QR. We have a 2-inch by 2-inch QR code that's the most popular for headstones. The 4-inch by 4-inch one is quite a bit larger. We'll double the size. That's great for historic monuments or benches. And we also have a little heart-shaped QR code that's ideal for urns or picture frames. Okay, so I'm going to go over quickly how to set a Life's QR sign up. I'm just going to touch on this quickly, and if you guys want to have a video on exactly how to do it, you can visit the website, lifesqr.com. Go to the how to create a memorial page, and that's all right there for you. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but to briefly go over it, when you receive the QR code, you scan it for the first time. All the QR codes are unique. So the first time you scan it, it will take you to a register screen. You have to register an account with Life's QR. From there, it will say, who are you creating this memorial for? First name and last name, and then you create the memorial. The back end of the website looks like this. You get a profile picture and a cover photo, and then it's fill in the blanks. You can put unlimited biography text in here. You can fill in all the details that you want. You can batch load up to 200 photos, videos. You can put your links in there as well. The family tree is very self-explanatory. It's a very user-friendly platform, and we have customer service ready to help as well. And when you're done and you publish the memorial, it looks like this. So the next time you scan it, you're not going to go to the registration screen because you've done that already. You're just going to scan it, and then up will come this beautiful memorial with all of the information that you've put in there. At Life's QR, we also have a searchable database, which is really important to us. So you don't even have to be in the cemetery to view the memorial. You can view the memorial from anywhere in the world. This is an example here of the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers have a Life's QR memorial on their headstone. The entire Wright family is buried there. And visitors can actually visit the cemetery. It's in Dayton, Ohio. They can stand right in front of the Wright family monument, scan it, and watch a video of them flying an airplane for the first time. And all of the people who are interned in that plot are listed there, and their obituaries are there as well. And you can see the guest book is really nice. People are leaving photos on their lunch breaks, and kids are going to tour with their schools. It's a great cemetery. They have an entire Life's QR memorial tour there. But the cool thing is that you don't have to be there. You can just go to lifesqr.com. You can find a memorial by searching for the last name. You can also opt out of that if you want in privacy settings. We are working on being SOC 2 compliant. We have all of the safety and security and privacy features of a government level website. That's very important to us. So for example, you can opt out of the guest book. You can opt out of the family tree, opt out of the gallery. You can hide or show the dates on the top of the memorial, or you can hide your loved one from the search database as well. So if you just want the memorial to be for family that are at the gravesite, or if you have a memorial in your home and you don't want anyone else to see it, you just go into the privacy settings and you create it exactly how you want. Now, there's a couple of reasons why you might want to hide the dates. One of the reasons why you'd want to hide the dates is if you had a family or multiple people interned in one plot. So in the case of the Wright brothers, they have about 7 people buried in the same family plot. So they went in, They hid the dates on the top of the memorial, and they used the biography section to separate the obituaries of the people. So you can really be creative and opt out of any section and use the privacy settings to your advantage. We also have a feature where you can invite collaborators. So if you have somebody that you want to create a memorial for, and there's maybe 4 or 5 people who you want to be able to manage that memorial, it's no problem at all. You would just go into options, invite collaborators, and then you can invite other admins, people who can contribute to the memorial and manage the guest book. Just so you know, anything that goes on the guest book has to be approved by the memorial holder. So if you have a memorial for your loved one and someone visits the cemetery and wants to leave a message, a memory, you would be emailed to approve it first before it shows up on the memorial. So you're always in control. For Life's QR, we do have a lifetime warranty on the physical QR code sign. So if it falls off, if it's lost or damaged, you would call Life's QR and we would replace it for you. The reason being is that we are not really selling QR codes, are we? We're selling digital memorialization. The online platform for Life's QR is guaranteed for 35 years. So when you purchase a Life's QR code sign, the cost is $250 for one sign. For $250, you are prepaying 35 years of internet hosting. So that is ongoing fees for the server, that is backups, penetration testing, that's making sure that all the memories are safe and secure. And we have a whole team of people making sure that everything is backed up daily. The exchange for goods, the cost of Life's QR is the 35-year guarantee. To replace a QR code sign, it doesn't really cost us that much money. If anything happens, you can call us and we will replace it because your memories are already on our server. Life's QR was built by my husband and a team of people who are all government level applications developers. It was built in ASP.NET. It's custom built from the ground up. It is a memorial website. It is not built on WordPress. It's not built on Shopify. It's a custom built platform that is just for memorialization. We do penetration testing. We have Cloudflare backups, and we're working on being SOC 2 compliant. That means that it is a government level application, and we do sell it in governments. The city of Niagara Falls, the city of Hamilton, Kitchener, London are all using Life's QR memorials as a part of their Memorial Bench program. And we have several places in the United States doing that as well. So to get into that level, you do have to pass a certain level of safety and security, and Life's QR has done that. Now we're going to talk about how cemeteries are using Life's QR. And this is going to be the fun part for you guys. I mean, hopefully it's all fun, but this is going to be fun for me to talk about because I don't usually get to talk about this in my sales presentations. So I'm looking forward to it. So as you can see, we've really developed our partner map. So we sell Life's QR in cemeteries and funeral homes around the United States and Canada. We have done that by going to trade shows. So we go to almost every single national trade show, conference, event for funeral directors and cemeteries. And we promote Life's QR. They purchase that wholesale and then they sell it. So if you ever want to buy a Life's QR, you can go to the website, you can buy it online. But what would be better is to go on the partner map and find a location near you to buy it. And then you can get it right in person. So the first cemetery we're going to talk about I'm going to talk about 3 different cemeteries during this presentation, is Lutz Cemetery in Tampa, Florida. I love what they're doing, and I think that you guys are going to love it too. So Lutz Cemetery is managed by the American Legion. They have created a program called the Florida Legacy Project. And over here on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that I scrolled through it to give you an idea of what they're doing. So the Florida Legacy Project uses Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. They invite them to the cemetery to clean the headstones of the veterans and the notable figures. So they will go on a Saturday morning, these boys and girls, clean the headstones, contribute to their community. Now, what they're doing is they're having the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts choose a veteran to do a research project on. So the boys and girls will pick a name, pick a headstone that they feel that they want to learn about. The cemetery will connect them to the next of kin if they have that record. And that child will go home and do as much research on that person as possible. Family trees, war records, where they served, any newspaper articles, things of that nature. And then the child will use Life's QR to create a biography and a memorial for that person. And then they're attaching it to the headstone so the community can walk through, scan, and actually learn something about the veterans that are there. Their mission is to preserve Florida history by empowering youth to research, document, and share the life stories of those laid to rest at Lutz Cemetery using modern technology and historical best practices. The core goals are to preserve local and state history, engage youth in hands-on historical research, honor individuals and families through storytelling, and merge historic preservation with digital innovation. And I love it. And they've actually gotten national news coverage because of this. And I'm going to show you a 3-minute news clip right now so you can see exactly what they're doing with Life's QR.
His 250th birthday this year, we're bringing you a new segment called America at 250, Celebrating Community. Today, we want to highlight a group of kids in Lutz that's honoring those who came before us. They're erasing one part of the past while creating another. Here's our Jeff Gutera with our story. Every scrub, every spray, every scour is for a stranger, a person they don't know. It's a name on a gravestone. But that's the point. These kids are spending a Saturday morning at Lutz Cemetery. One of only 2 cemeteries the American Legion owns and operates in the U.S. And the Legion makes it a point to tell kids history matters. Respect the dead. Kids like Eli and Yusef got the message.
He has the whole day. It's just a big hole. It's not like they needed cleaning. And I wanted to clean them.
And I want you to listen to their reaction when the graves got clean. These kids absolutely left in awe that day of the power of cleaning supplies. But the people who brought them here hope they leave with a better understanding of why they clean the headstones too.
If they get them moldy and rusty, those messages, they're there for a reason, and we want to share those.
My hope, selfishly, is that maybe some of these kids today will notice the years and think, I wonder what was happening 100 years ago. But at this cemetery, getting rid of the grit and the grime is the only part of the past that they want to erase. They want to preserve everything else. And it starts with this thing right here. A stainless steel QR code affixed to the headstone. The cemetery's operations manager, Tony Hedstrom, showed us how it works. The QR code sends her phone a biography about the man who's buried here, an Air Force veteran named Lewis Carroll who served in 3 conflicts. With this project, he's more than just a name, a birth year, and a death year. Everybody has a story. The idea about the QR codes is to be able to tell those stories.
So I'm hoping to lasso in some of the history that we have here.
And the American Legion is enlisting kids to research and write that history on the site. They are doing more than scrubbing, spraying, and scouring. They're ensuring the cemetery is not really about death, but life. Jeff Gutera, Spectrum News.
Okay, so I love that story. I love what they're doing down in Tampa, Florida. And the kids are loving the opportunity to actually get in there and learn about the veterans. The community loves it. So we are going from cemeteries who had nobody walking around, nobody really paying attention, nobody caring, to national news coverage, people visiting, and the community feeling welcome, and the community actually walking around on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, scanning the QR codes that are popping up and actually learning about the people who were interned there, which is beautiful. The next cemetery I want to talk with you about quickly is called Woodland Cemetery in Dayton, Ohio. I met the manager of Woodland Cemetery at one of my very first conferences 4 years ago. His name was Sean O'Regan. In his cemetery, the Wright brothers are residents of that cemetery, and he has a whole bunch of other people who are there. It's one of the most historical cemeteries in the United States. So when he saw Life's QR, he loved it right away and purchased one for the Wright brothers, just one. So we talked with him, his secretary set it up. And then they actually ended up getting a government grant to purchase 40 QR codes and make their entire history walking tour like a self-guided tour with Life's QR. So it's really, really cool. And I have a little case study about this cemetery here. So before Life's QR, and still you can go to Woodland Cemetery and get a tour, and they're great tours. I'm going to go again this summer. I'm going on July 17th for a tour there. But the challenge is this. The tours were only available when the volunteers were scheduled to take them on a tour a couple of times a week. The rest of the time, the community or visitors weren't able to learn about the people there in a quick way. Also, one of the challenges that is a concern to them is that a lot of the volunteers and the tour guides are getting to the age where they want to retire. And they're concerned that when that tour guide, the best tour guide they have, when that tour guide retires, the knowledge goes with them. And that's a problem. So with Life's QR, we're hoping to help bridge that gap. This is a message from Sean O'Regan. He says, Life's QR has transformed the way we deliver our cemetery tours. Visitors are engaging with our history more deeply than ever before, and the increase in community interaction has been remarkable. So the solution was to get a government grant, put Life's QR on all of the historic monuments. And what they did is they created a map in the office. They promoted it in their local papers and within the community. And visitors can go to the office, get a map, and take a self-guided tour outside of their regular tour guide times if they happen to be visiting and the tour guide wasn't available. So the benefits of that is instant access. There's no apps, no downloads, no setup, a wider audience reach. It works on any smartphone. And with Life's QR, it allows cemeteries and users to update the information whenever they want. So when you get that QR code and you scan it and you register an account with Life's QR, that allows you to log back in at any time during the 35 years and add whatever information you want. So if something was forgotten, or if you see a picture that you want to add, it's no problem at all. You just log back in and you add it. Very, very user friendly. Since implementing Life's QR, the visitor engagement at Woodland Cemetery has increased significantly. The Wright Brothers Memorial QR code alone has been scanned 14,301 times and counting, giving visitors instant access to detailed historical information, which is incredible. I actually have scan counts. This is for a case study that we did for them. These scan counts are of their residents that each of them have a QR code. Some of them are politicians from Dayton, Ohio. Some of them are bar owners from Dayton, Ohio. Just regular kind of locally historic people. They do have some extraordinary historic people like the Wright brothers, but not every single QR code is for someone like that. It could be for an author, a poet, a businessman, people in the area that are local and want to be celebrated. So you can see that in a 6-month period, this is the amount of times that the QR codes are being scanned, which I think is great. Every single scan is people learning something that they didn't know before they visited the cemetery. And this is the Wright family. This is in 6 months. It was scanned 2,359 times. Johnny Newton Morehouse is also one of their most popular residents as well. The historical significance of it is on Life's QR. If you want to go to the Life's QR search and search Johnny Newton Morehouse, you can read his whole biography. But it's actually a memorial that's dedicated to a dog. And the dog refused to leave the grave after the boy was buried, and then the community ended up taking care of the dog. So the dog lived in the cemetery, and they have a statue there in remembrance of the dog. And it's right near the front. So these scan counts obviously depend on a few things. It depends if the tour guide's stopping there. It depends on the location of the monument, how famous that person was. But overall, it's a very successful case study. And every month on LinkedIn, because I'm promoting Life's QR, of course, I share the top 3 most scanned memorials of the month. And it's never a surprise that the Wright family is always the top 3 or top 4 most scanned memorial. And this is actually a note from one of the tour guides on my LinkedIn. It says, as a tour guide at Woodland Cemetery and Arboretum, I love the QR codes, so guests of my tour can get more information about someone whose story is of interest to them. I can only share so much and keep the tour to a reasonable length of time. So the tour guides appreciate having the QR codes there as well. One of our newest accounts, this is the last cemetery I'm going to talk about, and I'm excited about it, is Beechwood Cemetery in Ottawa. Beechwood is known as Canada's national cemetery. Many prime ministers, astronauts, poets, and Canadian political figures are interned at Beechwood, as well as it's one of the largest veteran cemeteries in Canada. Beechwood just partnered with Life's QR to create a historic walking tour on the Beechwood grounds. There's over 100 monuments that will all have QR codes on them. We white labeled it. It says Beechwood on it instead of Life's QR, but they're still using the Life's QR platform. It's going to go to a site on the Beechwood website. So they're all things. It's the Rose Garden. It's statues that were donated by different groups of people where certain ceremonies have taken place. So soon this summer, you'll be able to go to Beechwood Cemetery in Ottawa and take a self-guided tour and scan all the QR codes and learn more about what's there, which is really exciting for us. When we first started Life's QR, Beechwood Cemetery was the top of my list. I had a wish list of people who I wanted, and Beechwood was number one. I'm a Canadian girl. I wanted Beechwood Cemetery, and we just partnered with them about 3 months ago. So I'm really happy about that. Now, I'm almost done, and then we're going to do some question and answers. I'm excited to answer your questions. I just wanted to share with you, after talking about all of this history and the possibility of these QR codes, imagine a cemetery where the next generation has a reason to visit, explore, and learn. And to me, this is so important. I walk around the cemetery here for steps. I see people walking for steps. I don't see any other reason to visit the cemetery, I guess, unless you're visiting a loved one or there's an actual funeral there. But there are historic figures there. There is a reason to visit. There's a reason to explore. Having something like Life's QR, a self-guided tour, would give the next generation an opportunity to go and learn something and connect with the people that were there and to have access to their ancestors. And I think it's a beautiful thing to do. And, when we first started Life's QR, I'll be honest with you, we got a lot of pushback from people. A lot of cemetery people are saying, I don't want to junk up my cemetery with QR codes. And what if this and what if that? I walked around the cemetery and I saw what the cemeteries looked like. There's pictures in Ziploc bags. There's obituaries taped to headstones. There's stuffed animals and trinkets and flags and pictures and glass picture frames because people don't have another way. And with technology, we do have another way now. And these QR codes are much cleaner. They're environmentally friendly. They get the memories off the ground. So it's not like laying a stuffed animal by a headstone or leaving a card by a headstone that gets blown away in the wind. And the groundskeepers have to pick up this stuff and they get frustrated because it's against the bylaws, and families get frustrated because there's no other way. Well, we've created a way. So that is my presentation that I had planned for you. But I want to open this up for questions and answers. So does anyone have questions? I kind of saw a couple pop up. Amanda, I know that you were going to ask me some, so I'm ready for all of your questions.
First, perfect. Thank you very much for the presentation. Interesting. I was actually just at Fairview Cemetery last week, and I was near that bench, and I don't even remember seeing the QR code.
Okay.
I'm sure it was there, but it was just a quick visit. The first question we have is from Jan Briggs McGowan, who asks if the Commonwealth War Graves Commission allows those on their military headstones. It's been her experience that they don't permit anything, including poppies, to be affixed to the headstones.
That's right. They don't allow that.
That's a shame,
Yes.
because certainly
It is a
would
shame.
be.
It is a shame they don't allow it yet. So what Beechwood Cemetery is doing is they have bronze plaques in each section. Okay. They're actually affixing the QR code to the bronze plaque, not to the actual headstone itself. So that's a way to kind of get around it. You can put the QR codes on benches in the cemetery, on bronze plaques, on things beside it, but not on the actual headstone yet, as of right now.
Interesting. And Jen also wants to know if the prices are in American or Canadian dollars.
Canadian.
Perfect. Jane wants to know if she could purchase a QR code for a plaque in a UK cemetery.
So the QR code, it just works with the internet. We sell them all over the world. You can set them up from anywhere in the world.
Perfect. And she wants to know also what happens after 35 years.
After 35 years, you can either continue hosting with Life's QR at that time. So if you had another admin on the account, say you weren't around, you could opt to continue hosting. So the price will be set out at that time. I wish that I could promise this forever and ever, but it's just impossible to promise any kind of technology or anything forever. Everything has a limit to what they can offer. So the most we can push is 35 years. After 35 years, you can continue hosting, but at any time you can download the information. So what Life's QR is, it's just a way to host all of these memories in one safe and secure server. You are in control of it at all times. We do not own the content, you own the content. So at any time in the 35 years, you can download that information and you can save it for your family, or your future family can download it and keep it on their own records too.
Perfect. Terry wants to know, where is the data stored? In Canada?
It's stored in Canada. We have a server. The server that we use is called LFC Hosting. It's been around since 1997. So they're an established business. They were recently bought by Host Papa, which is also a Canadian business. So it's a Canadian-based server. It's in Burlington, Ontario.
That's fantastic. I don't actually see any more questions. Does anybody else have a? Catherine says thank you. It was very fascinating. When you said Dayton, I wondered if Irma Bombeck was one of the ones that you had.
Yes.
I was going to a conference there every 2 years, and I know that everybody because it was the Irma conference, went there. There was a pilgrimage to her gravesite, but that was pre-COVID. And I'm assuming that it wasn't there at that point because you didn't have the business then. So
Right.
it'd be interesting to see if the Irma people find it and start looking at it.
Yeah, it is. I can share my screen if you want, and we can go back on the scan counts and see, but she's definitely one of the people that are on there. I've seen her. Like I said, every month I go through the stats. I like to keep on top of this stuff and see who's using Life's QR and where it's being used. One of the reasons why some regular non-historic people have such high scan counts is because you can download the QR code on the back end of the website and put it on a funeral prayer card. So if you are having a funeral and you purchase the Life's QR from the funeral home and you're sending a prayer card home with the guests, you can actually print that QR code on it. So when people go home, they can scan it and look at the tribute video. They can read a little bit more about that person because there's only so much space that can fit on a prayer card. Usually it's a poem or maybe a little bit of the obituary, but it doesn't really say a lot about that person. With Life's QR, there's really no limits. You can really go into detail and share as much as you want to about that person.
Perfect. I see that Mary Jean is asking, she'd like to share this information with her local historical society and local funeral home and wants to know the best way to do that.
They can contact me through my email, or they can go through lifesqr.com. So if you go to lifesqr.com and you scroll all the way to the bottom of the screen, you'll see a wholesale tab. So that is where I send most cemeteries and funeral homes that are interested in partnering with us. They contact us right through there, and then we'll have a sales rep get back to them.
That's perfect. And if you have any trouble, you can always just respond to my email, Mary Jean, and I can connect you. Jane wants to know if you would need to get an approval from each cemetery where you want a QR code for a relative.
It's not a terrible idea to do that. I think that it's always best to follow the rules and regulations with the cemetery. However, I do think that a lot of cemeteries are actually selling it now in their head office. And we did win the best memorial product of the year back in 2023 from the Cemetery Association themselves. So it's kind of has a nice stamp of approval from that association for many reasons. One of the biggest reasons is that it's environmentally friendly and it's helping them keep their grounds clean and clutter free. Right now, when you go to cemeteries, there's bylaws and there's bylaw signs all over. No ceramics, no glass, no wires, no candles. And people aren't complying with those bylaws, and the cemeteries currently have no other way to help them. So with Life's QR, they like it because they can say, well, I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you can't do that, but you can do this. Please leave your notes and memories on this QR code. Please refrain from taping things to the headstone that are going to blow off or leaving valuables by the grave. You can put everything on this QR code and get it off the ground so our keepers can go around and maintain the site for you. So cemeteries typically like Life's QR, but I think it's always best to ask the cemetery before you do anything.
Ashlyn is wondering if a cemetery is using QRs for their notable interments, is it up to the cemetery to create the tour? Or have you thought about building tour functionality into the program? So like a recommended tour route or something like that.
So the cemetery would build a tour. This is how we're doing it right now. If the cemetery wanted to pay one of our interns to actually create the memorials for them, we could do that at a cost. So if they didn't have time to sit there and create a profile for their residents, we could do that for them. That's no problem. But right now, the cemeteries are building the tour themselves, and many of them already have it. They already have kind of a piece of paper that has a tour kind of guide, but it's lacking information. It'll just say, it'll be like a map saying, oh, the Wright brothers are here and this person is there. But once you get there, there's no other information unless you have a QR code. For Dayton, before they had Life's QR, they had paper brochures and they were in these weatherproof plexiglass
Right?
boxes.
Yeah.
And they would just kind of go shove. It was almost like a printed piece of paper they just put in the office, right? But they would fly around, they'd go missing, they'd get wet,
Yeah.
they'd never be in stock. It was just a pain. But I think that because they had that cemetery in particular already had a map, so it was quite easy for them to implement Life's QR.
I think that's the end of our questions. I did want to know though, are they GPS? Do you have GPS on them as well?
No, we don't. Not yet, anyway. We don't have any GPS locating on them yet.
Interesting. Yeah, because I know that I went looking for one in Fairview Cemetery a few weeks ago and I had the section number. And usually if I can't find it, I go to Find a Grave and they have the GPS. And in this case, they didn't. But it
Yeah.
would be a great addition to have to be able to use your phone to locate the.
Yeah, we've looked into that. So we're doing different updates right now. We're always updating the website. And again, if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this presentation, it's that we're actually not selling QR codes. We're selling an online memorial website and it's constantly building. We're changing with technology. For example, right now we're building an AI component for the legacy section. So if you have a family that doesn't know how to start talking about their loved one, or they feel a lot of pressure about how am I going to summarize this person's life, they can click AI Assist if they want, answer 20 questions about that person, like their career, their children, their favorite places to travel, favorite memories, favorite holidays, favorite food, and then pick a tone. You can make a tone that's either funny, if that person was funny, or reflective or romantic. And that AI will help you start thinking about a nice way to write a lasting legacy. You can go in there and you can edit it, of course, and you can change it over time. But with that being said, we're also looking into the GIS locating, which would be fairly straightforward for us to do. It's one of these things that is on our mind, and I'm sure that in the next 4 to 6 months, it will be a reality.
Well, thank you again for joining us. It's a fascinating product. I'm sure there are a few people here who are thinking about the best ways to use it to memorialize their family. If you have any questions and you didn't catch Jennifer's information, please feel free to reply to the email address if you receive the newsletter, and I will be able to get you in touch. Thank you again, Jennifer. This is our last webinar until September. We will see you then. If we don't see you this summer at one of our events, we would love to see anybody in person. Thank you again and good night.
Thank you so much for having me. So nice to be here. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Bye.